Hi, this is Catch Loops, and today I'm going to show you how to join in the round. So what I've done is I've cast on 40 stitches here. Now you can see that there's absolutely no way these 40 stitches are going to stretch all the way around my cable needle. So I'm not going to have that situation where I'm just knitting round and round and round. I'm going to have to do something clever. So what you do, it's called magic loop, and you need to keep stitches ready to be worked, and you also need to get it so that the last stitch is right up near the first stitch. So I need to get the first stitch worked to be at the beginning of the needles. So what I do is I push them all to the other end of the needle, okay? So I'm going to get those guys up here to the front. And when we get going, we'll start knitting around and round from here. The next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, we need to get that last stitch worked right up next to the first stitch. So if I take about half the stitches, okay, so find about the halfway mark, and I'm going to pull the cable through in between kind of the halfway mark. Now you can see what is going on here is we have half the stitches, and they can be up near the front of that needle ready to be worked, and we also have the situation where we are able to get the last stitch right up close to the first stitch. One thing to note at this point, make sure to keep your stitches straight and not twisted. If the stitches twist round like that, what you're going to end up with is a kind of like a Mobius strip, if you've ever seen one of those. So keep these guys straight, unless you want to have the infinite loop situation like an infinity cow. So here we go. We've got these stitches ready to go. And here's my working yarn. Okay. So now insert your working needle into the first stitch just like you normally do for a knit stitch. Okay. And get the last stitch work up close to the front stitch. Okay. Work that stitch. Okay, pull off. There you go, you started. Go again into the next stitch and keep working. And I'll show you now what this is beginning to look like. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, we've got the yarn. It's all going round. Okay, and we have it is quite a small circumference. It's only going from here to here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, I haven't gotten to the end of the loop. I've only gotten to the end of one kind of side. So I want to show you what happens in the middle of the kind of the interchange. So we've worked our way across the stitches to the last two before the magic loop is happening over here with the cable. Okay, so work that guy and the next one. Okay, and now what we do is we need to get this stitch up here to this end of the needle so it can be ready to be worked. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull the cable down this side, get those stitches that need to be worked onto the left hand needle. So some of the stitches can tighten up a bit because they're the first round. Don't worry about that, just it'll loosen up as the rounds go forward. Go on. There we got it. Okay, and then you need some room to work with on the right hand side, so pull that needle through so that this half of the set of stitches are on the cable. Okay, and then continue knitting. Okay, so I've knit all but 2 stitches on this round. So I'm nearly at the beginning of the yarn again, of the round again. You can see from the tail is like my marker for the beginning of the round. So I'm going to work these last 2 stitches. Okay, and oh no, this is a very big string here going on. Don't worry, it's fine. It's usually because these stitches over here have been pulled a bit tight because they're resting on the cable. that'll probably disappear in the next round or two. And if not, you can always tie it up when you're weaving in this yarn at the very end of your project. Okay, so let's do that changeover again. So we now need to get this stitch here onto the needle we're going to work with. So let's pull that needle down by the cable. Okay, and get these bad boys up to the tip of the needle so that we can work them. Okay, and now release this needle, sorry, so we can start working those. Okay, pull those out. Oops, a bit tight. Okay, so we've still got a loop of cable over here, and we've got enough room to play with over this side. Okay, now remember not to use the tail yarn, that's not going to last for very long. Okay, and take a minute at this point, because we can check for our stitches being straight again, because we don't want that infinite loop to happen. Right, they all look straight, good. And we definitely have the yarn going up to the ball, great. Let's get going again. In, work the stitch. Okay, and we're off again.